afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, supporters of the American Armenian National Security Institute. My name is Grigorian. I'm Vice President, ANSI Administration. I'm delighted to welcome you and also present my heartfelt thanks to the host today, Mr. Kazanjian and his son, Mr. Douglas Kazanjian. Thanks so much for hosting us. I'd like to invite Mr. Douglas Kazanjian to present his words of welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Apo. Thank you everyone for coming here tonight. This is, it's wonderful to have you all here. One of the reasons I built this gallery was to have events like this where we could help the community, or in this case, a country. And so it's a nice place that we can show a little bit about what we do here at Kazanjian.
There you go.
Our company is 109 years now. My grandfather and his brother fled Turkey in 1912, and they got to Paris, where his brother had an eye infection, and they didn't let him on the boat to America, so he stayed behind and he learned how to cut sapphire and ruby in Paris. And it's kind of amazing, that little twist of fate. So then he finally came over to Massachusetts and started the company with my grandfather in 1918. And they moved to Los Angeles in 1928, and in 1969, my father, you should probably come up here, Dad, come on up here. Yeah, come on up here. My father moved the company to Beverly Hills.
This is a young company, so the gray hair, I just show up once in a while just for the overall effect to show there's a little stability here. But you handle it.
Okay. 4 generations now in the business, and you know, it's a really fun international business because we get to go all over the world finding gems. You know, my grandfather found some of the amazing rubies in Africa, and some of the largest sapphires in the world in Australia. 4 of them were carved into presidential busts of Lincoln, Jefferson, Washington, and Eisenhower, and they were in the Smithsonian for a while, and then they were now in the White House. And about 10 or 12 years ago, we found the greatest red diamond in the world. And that's really our greatest stone that we've ever had. And that stone, it's 5 carats and was the largest in the world for about 70 years, has an incredible history. It was stolen by the Nazis and found in a salt mine and returned to its original owners. And what's kind of nice about it is it was always known as the red diamond, but now it's the Kazanjian red diamond. So you have the greatest diamond, red diamond, and the rarest diamond in the world is an Armenian name, red diamond. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, so we moved here in 2019, and we've had some nice events here, but of course we had to close it all down after COVID. And this is our first event back, so we're really happy to all be back here. And this street is wonderful. Our main competitor is Christie's right next door, and that was a big reason we moved here, because we compete with them for acquiring estates of jewelry all over the world. So this street has turned into, you have Sotheby's and Christie's and us, and it's turned into a great street. And so I'm just and as far as like tonight, obviously you see what's going on in the world with Russia and attacking Ukraine, and Russia's support of Armenia is probably going to be very limited going forward with what they're going through and being terrible. So it's great what this organization is doing, and I thank you all for being here to support tonight. In general.
Thank you, Douglas. And we have a short and sweet program, and because some of our members spent a little bit of time in the armed forces of the United States, the armed forces of Armenia, and other countries, I do tend to stick to the time schedule. So we're going to start on time and hopefully end on time and get you back to where you would like to be. But with that, I have to extend my deepest appreciations, firstly to our hosts, David and Michael, and of course to you, especially those who have come from some distance. And some distance could mean Encino, because as those of you who live in the San Fernando Valley, the San Gabriel Valley understand, sometimes you need almost a visa to come down here to Beverly Hills, or at least a lot of patience as you transit now with increased vehicles on the highway. But most importantly, you're here today because of what we do and what we have done and what we must do for Armenia and ARTSAKH. And in a few moments, we'll expand a little bit on that subject. Now, I think most importantly right now is we will have our distinguished vocalist come forward. It is the time, and nobody does it better. And here she is with the American National Anthem, the Armenian Anthem, and ARTSAKH's Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight made hiding Azadanga vorabreles taretar yur vortika ad ganchume Azadanga hayastan yur vortika ad ganchume Azadanga hayastan Azaduvanga khata kondunam rotzen gedetsin bad mutyuna mer yerri mer sur paryamen serdetsin.
I wanted to make this topical. I've used this presentation not only at the banquet, but as well on some television presentations I made. And this gives sort of an idea of the Caucasus, Southern Europe, and really brings to the forefront the challenges that we now see in that incredibly important area of the world. Some would say it's almost apocalyptic, meaning that if something or something could go seriously wrong, and I had to incorporate both Ukraine and as well working down to, of course, Armenia, and the challenges that we saw in September of 2020 when Azerbaijan, without any provocation and no justification, invaded ARTSAKH and seized 4/5 of that country. And the tragedy is not only the loss of the men and women who valiantly defended ARTSAKH, to include members of the Armenian armed forces, the loss of land, but it was reflective of the fact that no Western democracy came and offered assistance other than a few words from our White House, a few words from Macron of France, but absolutely no material assistance and no effort to persuade the security organizations, United Nations, from resisting, coming forth, and imposing penalties on the aggressor. And so that's one of the things that we do with the money donated. And some of you have seen the documentary. If you have some time, you'll see the AANSI documentary. I told you about the commitment of senior officers to Armenia and the value associated with this. And you saw two of our distinguished members, some of our first enlistees to the humanitarian brigade. And just so that you, this was, what was it, 6 weeks ago, something like that, 6 weeks, we met with Lydia Massoud, who is your ambassador, Armenia's ambassador to the United States. We had an excellent conversation with her, and she's the one, along with Mkrtchyan, Colonel Mkrtchyan, who are facilitating American senior military officers going to Armenia. So a very successful meeting, and she is a delightful and very effective client, effective diplomat. And so we did get confirmation that our gift was received, and that's very, very important, because one of the challenges that we have faced in Armenia is, of course, we have to express this, is that there is still some dissipation of funds. Some might use the term corruption in the transfer of funds. So what's incredibly important for us is that we establish eyeball-to-eyeball relationships. It's very interesting. I'm going to say this. I think it was very direct between myself and General Luznuts, who is the Chief of Staff to President Haratunian, who is the President of ARTSAKH. And he and I both served in the military. My service is a little different than his. He is facilitating our entry into ARTSAKH, and if some of you come with us to ARTSAKH, he will help us to get back into that country. But when I talk about face-to-face, that was eyeball-to-eyeball.
And that you know, General MacCarley and Apo, that we are ready and we will continue to support you in any way we can in your mission. And by the way, in this freezing temperature, I was reviewing your mission and objectives and aims. This is very ambitious, and this is great. And hopefully, all together, all of us, we can accomplish.
Okay. First of all, let me thank, on behalf of the Consulate General for Armenia, I would like to thank Mr. Attaché and Major General MacCarley for organizing this significant and timely event to support of the Armenian American National Security Institute, its missions and activities for the support of the Republic of Armenia and the Republic of ARTSAKH.
Now, I'm not sure how many of you have seen it. I see some faces and some of our new faces. So we got a 10-minute documentary that we put together about our trip into ARTSAKH last summer and our conversations with the president of ARTSAKH and military leaders and soldiers on the ground. So we'll kick that. It's basically toward the end. Go ahead as you watch this documentary. I don't have any popcorn, but I sure do have liquor, care of our hosts, Douglas and Michael Kazanjian. So there's a lot of liquor back there when you want to watch our documentary.
Thank you so much for being here. AANSI, ANSI, the American Armenian National Security Institute, is not just another American Armenian organization for lobbying or whatever other important activities they are needed for. ANSI is a visionary organization that fosters stronger military, economic, and political alliance through education. This visionary organization could not have been established had there not been visionary founders like General MacCarley and visionary supporters like you. I would like to also thank award-winning producer and director Peter Mkrtchyan of Washington, D.C. For putting this great documentary together. So together, we continue our journey to help the underdog, the people of ARTSAKH, and help the people of ARTSAKH tell their story, amplify the plight of the people, and also send a strong message to the world that ARTSAKH must rise again shall rise again and will rise again, because they have a basic human right of being in existence as a sovereign, independent nation. So I am looking forward to working with many visionary supporters to continue the mission for support of the sovereignty, independence, and defense of the twin Armenian republics, because the twin Armenian republics are an integral part of the Armenian nation. And I also want to thank the non-Armenian friends of ANSI who are here tonight, Mr. Ajalat, a well-known attorney, Mr. Siegel from our sister organization, Jewish Institute of National Security of America, and many of you.